Are Peach and Pauline the same people? Is it possible? Let's find out. Hello theorists, and welcome back to Investigative Game Speculation, where today a certain someone said that there was a theory that is just too out there to make, and I mean really out there. Yep, that's right. Matthew Patrick recently returned to YouTube to be asked questions he's apparently never been asked, and one of those questions were, what is the theory that you could never post? And the answer to that question was a crazy idea that Pauline and Peach were equivalents as the same person. So, while Matt may have felt that he didn't have the show to do this one theory, I am going to expand on it and see if it is really possible. But here is the twist. Instead of just comparing Peach and Pauline, I'm going to compare all four of the gals. Peach, Pauline, Rosalina, and Princess Daisy to test if it is possible that maybe, just maybe, they are all the same. Could we have Pyra and Mythra in Super Mario? Well, without further ado, let's find out and potentially change the way you know of Peach, Pauline, Rosalina, and Daisy forever. So, before we go all rambunctious Peach, Pauline, Rosalina, and Daisy are all the same people theory shtick, we need to take a little bit of a backstory on what the four of them did, who they are, and how they connect to Mario. So, starting with Pauline, she is a damsel in distress who was formerly in a relationship with Mario, who at some point gets kidnapped by a giant brown monkey, Donkey Kong, and is saved by Mario. However, as time flew by and their relationship subtly grew apart, it ended, but on good terms as they remained friends. Pauline would then become the mayor of New Donk City, where she stayed, and was also a singer and returned to Donkey Kong Banzana and Super Mario Odyssey. I think you all know the story of Peach, but basically she is a ruler of Mushroom Kingdom and is constantly kidnapped by Bowser and saved by Mario in a love battle, and has a connection to the Toads. She has been in multiple Mario games and has really been here since the beginning, as Mario frequently looks for her on missions and when she is captured. Rosalina is the mother and ruler of the Lumas, and her story starts when she is a young girl who tries to help a young Luma find his mother, but unfortunately they don't succeed. But then Rosalina becomes the mother of the Lumas, taking the place of the original lost, long maternal bond the Lumas had with their original mother. Rosalina, having lost her own mother too, would likely understand what they're going through. And Princess Daisy, another damsel in distress. Basically, she was saved by Mario when Bowser tried to kidnap her and to be her princess and marry her, and she later became a love interest for Luigi and is known to have a fiery, spunky, and sassy personality and hates losing sports games, although she is nice and sweet like most of the other damsels. So, now that you know the basic summaries of these four characters, let's get into some of the action. Are they all the same person? Well, when comparing two or more of the same people to see if they are the same or related, there are several major factors we have to consider. Lore, personality, family, where they live, their connection to other characters, but also something super complicated that we are going to start with that is less lore-y and more sciencey. Genetics! That's right, folks. It's time to do a full genetic check on Peach, Rosalina, Pauline, and Daisy. So, obviously, when looking at these four individuals, they clearly have fundamentally different genetics. However, hopefully through some research and speculation, I can shed some light on these genetics and show them to be similar. Before I get started on this, I do want to point out that genetics are highly nuanced, and this is not a complete solution or explanation for genetics, so think of it more as physical traits that could be a source of genetics. Princess Peach, Pauline, Rosalina, and Princess Daisy all seem to have some things in common, such as blue eyes, straight hair, thin eyebrows, wide-shaped eyes, small full lips, pink lips, and I know Pauline's lips are technically red, but I am almost certain it is just lipstick. But something very specific in terms of genetics also caught my eyes. All four of them seem to be tall and slender and thin. I don't know if it's just me, but all of these characters seem to be around the same height or close. despite the conflicting evidence of some characters. And despite having genetics that are very similar and often strongly linked to genetics, they do have critical genetics that are different, such as different hair colors, different nose shapes, and some of them have different face shapes. So in this video, the results of this entire theory may not be just a simple yes or no, are they the same person? Some two pairs of people may be the same people, maybe even three and an odd one out, or it may even get more complicated than just that. So, now that we have genetics tackled down, we need to get into the real stuff, such as the story of these four individuals. You see, there are certain patterns that each of them go in, maybe things that have a certain number, like 2 or 3 have in common, and then the rest of them don't have that in common. And Peach, Pauline, and Daisy all have one thing in common. All of them were damsels in distress who needed to be saved by Mario. Mario is constantly having to go after Peach, Pauline, and Daisy. It's like it's destined to happen. It's as if there is no way that Mario and the rest of them can just have peace. All these damsels are always getting captured. Peach even gets kidnapped over a dozen times over all games and reboots. Within involvements that are this similar, there's gotta be something that's going on. Now, let's make another interesting concept. Personality. Alter egos. All these characters have something in common about their personality. They are all sweet, nice, and kind. But parts of their personality tend to differ in ways you might not be able to tell. For example, Peach and Daisy are both opposites in certain ways, and they both match up with Mario and Luigi, who are opposite colors, red and green, and have different personalities and are brothers. Peach is kind, sweet, bubbly, beautiful, and outgoing and pure, while Daisy is feisty, tomboyish, ambitious, spunky, fiery, arrogant, and friendly. Rosalina is different from them because she is more reserved, introverted, and quiet. Pauline, as a mayor, is charismatic, laid back, and outgoing. So clearly, this could match the description of alter egos within characters. We have 4 different types: kind and bubbly, fiery and friendly, introspective and thoughtful, and charismatic and laid back. And that, my friends, represents the different sides of what one person can be. The truth is, personalities often show different sides of a human being. Emotions, personality, people, it can all change. So, are Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, and Pauline all the same people? Well, with more theories like Pauline and Rosalina being related, I could definitely see it. This definitely took a lot of time and research because when you make a crazy theory like this, people want real facts. Truly, this may be one of the most unhinged theories I have ever made. And there's largely a lot of counter evidence against this theory, such as Peach, Daisy, Pauline, and especially Rosalina having very different roles within the Mushroom Kingdom and Mario universe, making it hard to say they are all the same. For example, Rosalina thrives in space as the ruler of the Lumas, Pauline is the mayor of New Donk City, Peach lives in Mushroom Kingdom, and Princess Daisy lives in a kingdom called Sarazaland. But basically, to summarize, the final theory is that Peach, Pauline, Rosalina, and Daisy all represent alter egos of different kinds, embodiments of all of the same person, or different people but representations of different sides of people. We have taken a look at genetics, history, family, physical traits, lore, and found a solid amount of evidence. But in the end, Mario's complicated, and it all crumbles down into one exhausting, unhinged, and complicated theory. Thank you all for listening to this crazy talk, and still just slightly believing that I am sane. And thank you for checking out today's theory. See you next time.